Labubu looks like an adorable little creature with a playful face and mischievous smile. But behind those stitched eyes and fuzzy ears lies something far more sinister than anyone could imagine. Many people think Labubu is just another collectible toy, a cute decoration for shelves or desks. But strange events often begin the moment Labubu enters someone's home. It starts subtly, like the feeling of being watched when no one else is in the room. Owners report shadows shifting in corners, always near where Labubu sits. Lights flicker without cause, bulbs explode even though they're brand new. Electronic devices glitch or turn on by themselves whenever Labubu is nearby. People hear faint laughter in the middle of the night, though no one else is around. Sometimes the laughter comes from under the bed or behind closed closet doors. Labubu never moves when you're looking, but somehow it's never where you left it. Pets bark at it, hiss at it, even run away and refuse to return to the room. Children wake up screaming in the middle of the night, saying Labubu was sitting on their chest. Some children become oddly attached to it, talking to it like a friend no one else can see. One boy told his parents Labubu promised to take him to a magical world if he followed it outside. Another child drew disturbing pictures of Labubu eating other toys and laughing. At first, parents thought it was just imagination, but the stories became darker, more real. One mother found the words, "Let me in," written on her fogged bathroom mirror. She had been alone in the house, with all doors locked. The handwriting was small, as if written by a child's tiny fingers. When she ran to check the shelf, Labubu was no longer there. She found it sitting on her bed, facing the mirror. People say Labubu is cursed, created through rituals that trap mischief spirits inside cloth bodies. Some believe it was inspired by ancient forest demons that lure children to vanish. Others claim it's a vessel, an empty body waiting to be possessed. One collector said his Labubu changed expressions in his photos, sometimes smiling, other times sneering. He deleted the photos, but they returned to his phone by themselves. He tried to burn the doll, but it wouldn't catch fire. It just sat in the flames, staring up at him, perfectly unharmed. That night, he woke up with scratch marks down his back and Labubu resting on his chest. He moved out, left the doll behind, and never returned. Another woman said Labubu whispered to her at night, repeating her thoughts back to her in a mocking tone. She stopped sleeping, became paranoid, started seeing Labubu in her dreams. In those dreams, Labubu's eyes glowed red and its mouth was filled with jagged teeth. She woke up one morning with blood on her pillow, a small cut across her cheek. No one could explain it, and Labubu was sitting next to her with a red stain on one paw. Stories like this come from all over the world, each eerily similar in detail. Different people, different places, but always the same pattern. Labubu brings chaos. People have tried to bury it, throw it in rivers, lock it in safes, even send it away. But it always finds a way back, sometimes showing up in places it should never be. One man mailed it to another country, only to find it sitting on his porch a week later. His security footage didn't show anyone delivering it, just static for 7 minutes. Paranormal experts have tried cleansing rituals, only to find Labubu unaffected. Some say it feeds on fear, growing stronger the more you're afraid of it. It doesn't need to move or speak loudly to cause destruction. It works slowly, twisting your reality, making you question your own sanity. You begin to hear your name being whispered in the dark. You find objects moved, doors opened, drawers emptied. You lose time, forgetting hours, waking up in places you don't remember walking to. All while Labubu sits silently nearby, always watching. It becomes more than just a doll, it becomes a presence. It infects your dreams, your thoughts, even your relationships. You begin to isolate yourself, becoming obsessed with Labubu's stare. You try to explain it to others, but they laugh until they see it too. Then the laughter stops, replaced by silent fear. Even hardened skeptics admit feeling uneasy in Labubu's presence. One woman described it as a cold pressure in the chest, like something trying to push its way into her heart. She fainted while staring at the doll, and when she woke up, Labubu was gone. 3 days later, it was found in her car in the passenger seat, buckled in. She hadn't driven anywhere. Others hear tapping sounds at night, always in threes, like soft knocks from under the floorboards. Sometimes they hear giggling coming from inside closets or under beds. One man said he heard his own voice calling him from the basement, only he had been home alone. He followed the sound and found Labubu sitting on the steps, holding a flashlight. He never went back into the basement again. People have reported that mirrors near Labubu fog without heat. When wiped, words appear written backward, often with messages like, "Play with me," or "I see you." Labubu never runs, never jumps, it just sits. But its silence is the most terrifying part. You always feel like it's waiting. Waiting for what? No one knows. Maybe it waits for fear to reach its peak. Maybe it waits for your mind to break. A family once tried locking it in a glass case, but the case shattered from the inside during the night. Shards were scattered across the room, yet the doll remained unharmed. They moved out the next day. Labubu has been seen blinking in videos. Slow, deliberate blinking. Yet when the footage is paused, the eyes remain painted and lifeless. One man found dozens of photos on his phone, selfies taken with Labubu while he slept. He lived alone. Another woman was found talking to it on her couch, saying things she didn't remember later. Her voice in the recording wasn't her own. Low, growling, distorted. She moved away and left the doll behind. The next family to move in found it hidden behind the fridge. There are legends of dolls used as vessels for ancient spirits in forgotten rituals. Labubu fits every trait described: small, inviting, and deceptive. It doesn't kill with violence, it kills with influence. It makes you do things you never thought you would. People become paranoid, angry, violent, even suicidal. All while the doll sits quietly in the corner. It never needs to lift a finger. You become your own destruction, and Labubu is the seed of that fall. Some say it is cursed by a failed spell, one that was meant to create a spirit companion but instead opened a doorway. What came through wasn't a friend. It was something else. Something hungry. And now it hides behind a cute smile and stitched ears. Labubu isn't a doll, it's a disguise. And it chooses who sees the truth. It may appear harmless to some, even adorable. But to others, it reveals its true self in nightmares and waking horrors. One boy kept drawing it with multiple eyes and mouths, saying it showed him its real face. His drawings were confiscated by his school after other children began to have nightmares. Another child's bedroom was found covered in claw marks after screaming all night. Labubu was on the bed, arms outstretched. People who try to destroy it find it only multiplies. One woman burned hers, then began finding small replicas made of paper and twigs around her home, each more detailed than the last. She eventually moved to another city. Labubu was waiting for her when she arrived. The postman said he didn't deliver it. Security footage showed no visitors. It just appeared. It always appears. Once you own it, you never truly get rid of it. Because Labubu doesn't belong to you. You belong to it. And the moment you realize that, the fear begins. The more you deny its power, the stronger it grows. It thrives in secrecy, in darkness, in your disbelief. Labubu doesn't need your permission to stay, it already has what it wants. Your attention, your energy, your soul. It's always watching, always listening. And when the time is right, it will show you exactly who it really is. No one escapes Labubu forever. Because Labubu doesn't just haunt homes. It haunts people. And once it chooses you, it never lets go.